democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion.
Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about form.
Now, you see, let me
say
so that our soldiers will be free. We should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues. Come back on the program. Well, behind the scene, you need to get to see what is happening behind the scene. My guests are indeed ready for the show today. I had 2019 general elections, issues and prospects. I have with me in the studio this morning, public affairs analyst GBOLA and legal practitioner Samuel ADEOLA. GBOLA, you have the floor at the moment.
Before we went on break, and after my friend took the pain to read the provision of the Constitution regarding the sacrosanct powers of INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, to conduct elections in Nigeria, for which he believes that the provision is self-complete the way he presented it after reading it. And I asked him, is it anathema for an electoral act to exist in complementing the provision of that constitution? If he wants to be gracious enough to answer yes or no, I will appreciate it. But if he doesn't, you don't want?
I won't answer yes.
Okay.
Because
now,
I will give you regarding. Okay. I'm going to talk basically and argue on the point of law.
Mr. ADEOLA, I will allow you to talk. Let him finish.
So he put a question to me,
okay.
Mr. Moderator. So you are the one supposed to listen. He put a question to me that he will want me whether to answer yes or no, and I said no. I'm not going to answer yes or no. I am going to talk and argue on the point of law, as we say in court.
Okay. Where we borrow this constitution from in America, apart from the fact that it is defined that a body will conduct elections in America, America has an instant electoral act. Nigeria, historically, apart from the fact that in our constitution, or in our constitutions, indeed from at least that I grew up to know, from 1979, Second Republican Constitution of Nigeria, which this Fourth Republican Constitution is just a modulation of, there has always been an electoral act that will complement the foundation of the role of the Elections Management Authority or agency. You may call it FEDECO in 1979. You may call it INEC in 1999. So I've established the fact that as a matter of not only precedents, electoral acts do complement fundamental constitutional provisions upon which, and what does an average electoral act does? An average electoral act upon the foundation.
Your question to me or your answer?
No, you don't want to answer my question. I don't want to put the question to you anymore. I'm reasoning with Nigerians. I'm not putting questions to you anymore. Let me finish.
You want me to answer your question? Yes or no?
I asked you a question before. You said you didn't want to answer. So don't bother.
I told you you want me to answer yes or no. I said no.
Okay,
I'm not going to answer yes or no. I will answer you on the point of law.
Mr. ADEOLA,
if you are afraid to ask me question, fine. But if you want to ask me question based on what I have said and my stand, I am ready to give it to you on the point of law.
I will let you speak, but let's allow.
I am not saying he should not speak. He started in the first instance by putting the questions to me. And when you went on break, hold on, Mr. Moderator. When you went on break, he said he want to repeat the question. And he asked me question. He asked me question that do I want to answer yes or no, and I said no, not I'm not going to answer in the affirmative. I will answer you.
I will allow you speak, Mr. Samuel.
I'm not saying you will not allow me. He put the question to me.
Mr. ADEOLA, I will let you
answer.
speak, but let's allow GBOLA to have his floor at the moment.
If on the power of precedents and on the power of law, there is usually an electoral act that complements that provision of the constitution that he has read, and if in the legal history of Nigeria, the provisions of the provisions of the statute, that is the electoral act, have always been used by courts of competent jurisdiction to interpret the conduct of an election. And indeed, if at the last elections, some of us, and I happen to be on the same side with him, then if at the last election, some of us were disgruntled with the strict interpretation of the electoral act against the constitutional provision that is just read, when the Supreme Court, in the case of APC and PDP in Rivers, in the case of APC and PDP in Cross Rivers, in the case of APC and PDP in Abia, indeed, in the case of APC and APC, in the case of APC and APC in Kogi, the Supreme Court said that because the Electoral Act did not directly countenance the use of electronic documentation, that the interpretations that had been done in the two courts in the court of first instance and the court of second instance before the case got to the Supreme Court, those interpretations were rubbished by the Supreme Court. And you know why the Supreme Court rubbished it? If the Supreme Court had any modicum of respect for his position in law now, that INEC can do anything in so much as is organizing an election, and not use the pretext of the fact that electronic verification of voter was not stated clearly in the Electoral Act, then the Supreme Court, legal justices, law lords, who I believe are in the same profession with my friend, I believe those law lords heard the law. I believe then, I believe now, but if he's changing his position now, that the law lords ought to have accepted anything that INEC used, and that the Electoral Act under which they took cover to interpret against APC in Akwa Ibom, against APC in Rivers and Cross Rivers and Abia, that's number one. Number two, in conclusion, because I will yield to you and I know we will address all these issues. Number two is this. My brother, when you started out asking the question, you asked from a wrong premise. Is it historically valid that at every time that we are getting nearer to a general elections, that the Electoral Act is amended? Bola Oba is saying with a degree of conceit that, not being a lawyer, but being somebody that follows the news, I know that in Nigeria, the Electoral Act is always amended before general elections. Now, are we having a process of the amendment of the extant Electoral Act in the National Assembly as we speak? Yes. Amongst the other, I will read the amendments already agreed by the two chambers, and I want to know the position of my friend. I won't take his time now. I let him respond to what I've just said. I will read about 12 amendments, and those who are rabidly partisan in favor of a party that I also support, APC, they only see the sequence of election. This sequence of election that they are complaining about was used in 1979. That was why a party like Unity Party of Nigeria could have a senator from northeast Nigeria. This sequence of election was used in 1999. Now, the same sequence of election, suddenly, because they know that when politicians come to power, Obasanjo changed the sequence of election for his own re-election. Now, people who people who condemn Obasanjo, rightfully so, they want to use the holy grail of Obasanjo now as their own mechanism to protect the candidate they support. You know what? When it gets back to my turn,
okay,
I will then itemize. Apart from the sequence, even the sequence of election did not emanate. I kept hearing Senate for me. I shake my head sometimes.
Well, it started from the House of Representatives.
It started from the House of Reps.
Oh, we
and you know
that.
what? When it goes to my turn,
okay,
I will then itemize for Nigerians.
Okay.
Whether they want these changes.
Let me put you on the pause. Let me put you on the pause at the moment.
Thank you, sir.
Let me put you on the pause.
I will let you
well, Mr. Samuel ADEOLA, you seem not to be in tandem with the sequence of election, as the National Assembly is saying, well, we should have the National Assembly election first, followed by the governorship and state House of Assembly, and the presidential election should come last. What's your own take on this?
With your assertion, it seems as if I have problem with the sequence of election. I have no problem. I'm not contesting. I may not even vote. My own prerogative here on this state is that the National Assembly has, and I want to repeat that I've never mentioned the word Senate here. I mentioned the National Assembly has no power
to amend the Electoral Act,
to say this is how elections should go. It is the prerogative of the INEC.
There was the Electoral Act.
Let's get it clear. Is it to amend the Electoral Act or to change the sequence of election? What exactly are you saying?
The sequence they change, right? It was based on that sequence they changed that they amend. The Electoral Act has been amended long time ago.
No, sir.
Just a moment, Mr. But let him speak.
Please, I give you the audience. Let me just speak the language that I understand. This Electoral Act amendment has been done about 2 months ago. This new one, after releasing the timetable of election by the INEC, if you recall it very well, if you are versed with what's going on relating to the election, INEC has released one about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, when they said the election will hold in January. Thereafter, they change and come out with this new one that they bring the elections to February something and something. They even put the date that the primary of the political party will be rounded off as at May. Now they have put it either in October. So after this thing, that was when the House of Rep now went back, because they have not sent that bill to the president for assent, because the totality of the Electoral Act has not been, collectively agreed on.
Do you see the president giving his assent if it's been
don't
signed?
Jump the gun.
Okay, don't digress.
Don't
digress. I don't want to preempt,
because you just raised the
yes,
issue.
I did not mention president in my statement.
Okay.
So don't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
Don't jump guns. The issue I'm addressing is the issue raised by him, even though he has said he doesn't direct the questions to me. But I'm going to talk, like I said, I'm going to argue on the point of law. One, he mentioned the issue of Supreme Court giving the judgment in favor of those people that argue against the use of an electronic device in an election, because it was not made provision for. PVC was not made provision for
in the Electoral Act.
And yet the Supreme Court never go against it. And I want to sum that statement up, that more people that are knowledgeable than I am, I will sum it up in the word of the most reverend, the Socrates of the judge of the court in Nigeria, as pronounced by Justice West at that point in time, Justice Oputa. This is what he said, because I don't want to address my lordship to say that, okay, maybe they don't know what they are doing. This is what he said. He said, on the power of the Supreme Court as final arbiter, he said, we are final because we are infallible. Rather, we are not final because we are infallible. Rather, we are infallible because we are final. Justice of this court are human beings capable of erring. It will certainly be short-sighted, arrogant not to accept this obvious truth. I cannot at the same time say that they don't know or they don't want to believe that the INEC, by virtue of the provisions of the third schedule, paragraph 15, subparagraph 8 that I read just now, that the INEC has no power to engage, to undertake everything that has to do with election as provided for. I want to stand on the word of Justice Chukwudifu Oputa that they are not final arbiter because they are not final arbiter because they are infallible, but they are infallible because they are final. Sorry. So be that as it may, the issue of electoral act, by virtues of the provisions of the constitution, every act of parliament, be it statute, be it act of anything, be it even any criminal act, as long as that provision could not and will not pass the pregnancy test of the constitution, is from the beginning void ab initio. That is section 1 and section 2 of the constitution provision. That any law that is not in agreement with the provisions of this constitution, which is the grand norm, is at best non and void. That is why when you read the electoral act, it will always refer back to the provisions of the constitution. This is in accordance with the provision of the constitution, the third schedule, paragraph 15, as given to the
just a moment, gentlemen. We have to open the phone lines now to get the pulse of Nigerians. You will make your case, Mr.
I also have the prerogative when you come not to be coming if you're a bit shabby the way you conduct your program.
You make your case.
I'm honest.
You make your case. You're on a live TV program.
You know what?
You're on a live TV program.
And that's a fact.
You're on a live TV program.
You must set clear pennies.
It's time for us to open the phone lines.
I'm not saying you should open it.
We'll open the phone lines to get the possible Nigerians on what we're looking at. I will allow you speak. I will allow you speak. We have to just maintain a decorum on the program this morning. Quite interesting that we're looking at issues ahead 2019 general elections. So let's open the phone line to get the possible Nigerians, and let me let you speak. This time, do not attack any personality. You don't have the right to do that. Do not make any hate speech. Release the audio of your TV set so that we can enjoy ourselves on the program this morning. Quite interesting. Mr. GBOLA, you have the floor at the moment.
At no point in time did the Supreme Court, in all the pronouncements they made on all the litigations that got to them, at no point did they say the Electoral Act was irrelevant.
Okay, you just have to take a pause now. Let's get IK from Akwa Ibom. Man, thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Emmanuel Ajayi, and your guest in the studio.
Good morning.
Talking about the amendment of the electoral system, I want it, every development Nigeria should understand it that way, that when presidential election comes first, after the election, President he wants, imposing people that he wants in some many offices, in some offices that has. So it's better it comes last. It's better the presidential election comes last. After a state assembly, let it be the last one that will be concluded, because the presidential election is the head to the every elections in Nigeria. So
you're supporting the amendment of the Electoral Act. Many thanks for joining us there, IK from Akwa Ibom.
The Electoral Act that is under consideration for amendment has these issues that I want to read to Nigerians. And I want my friend to tell me which one of the provisions they are contemplating either adding as a result of the pronouncements of the Supreme Court in the last general elections, or which one as a result of how the polity got itself boxed up in legal interpretation that some governors are holding office now, not on the mercy of the votes of the people. Number one, they say one item to be, they have 11. One item, there shall now be full biometric accreditation of voters. The Supreme Court, after the last general elections, rubbished the use of the PVC.
No PVC. No PVC. It is the thumb printing.
What gave the PVC? What gave the PVC its electronic relevance? Biometric information. What is thumb printing, my brother? You are a lawyer. Biometric information.
Just a moment. We have Emeka from Kotonou.
You will do these people a lot of good for them to be enlightened before they go in.
No. They will.
They will just stay on the sequence. Let Nigerians learn. We want.
Mr. GBOLA, it's time for us to open the phone lines, and we have to follow suit, please. Emeka is calling us from Kotonou. Thanks for joining us on the program.
And we talk about the sequence of election as though it's the only issue.
Emeka, you're on live. Go on with your comment, please.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Jay.
Good morning.
Bonjour, please, I want to ask the learned lawyer, the people that have the right to amend the Constitution, whether it's the INEC or the National Assembly. If it is the National Assembly that has the right to amend every constitution, the National Assembly are on the right track. And in the right sense, the common sense teaches us that every assembly, every election, the head or the president should come last. If not, we are trading to one-party system in Nigeria. If we don't do the president last, that means that every other president, the language is, don't you want to be at the corridor of power? Don't you want to be at the corridor of power? And this is going to turn Nigeria upside down. Let the presidential election come last. That's the sequence. And
thank you very much, Emeka from Kutoni.
Number two.
Okay.
Number two, and this will interest my friend because we were on the same side, fighting for this. Amongst the amendments that they are contemplating in the electoral act bill that is undergoing the amendment now is it, presiding officers must now instantly transmit accreditation data and results from polling units to various collation centers, accreditation even before election, so that to forestall the inconsistency that politicians take advantage of. Presiding officers who contravenes this shall be imprisoned for at least 5 years. It was on the same side with me when we were saying that we should make our presiding electoral officers more legally accountable. Indeed, at a point we were mutually arguing for a dedicated court to look into election matters as recommended by the Waste Commission. That's it in this amendment. All presiding officers must now first record accreditation data and polling results on INEC's prescribed forms before transmitting them. The data or result recorded must be same with what they transmitted. Consistency, making sure that the loopholes are blocked. Number 4, INEC now has unfettered powers. The two chambers of National Assembly are talking now. INEC now has unfettered powers to conduct elections by electronic voting, which the lords, the Supreme Court justices, rubbished in the last this year. Number 5, besides manual register, INEC is now mandated to keep electronic registers of voters. I wonder which one of it my friend does not like here. INEC is now mandated to publish voters register on its official website. So I don't only have to be sending a star so to know if I'm a bona fide registered person. Indeed, I can now, as a result of this contemplated amendment, know if an underage person in my neighborhood has been registered, because if I see his or her name, or if I see names of people who don't live in my neighborhood, I will officially complain to which one of you does my friend not like. Thus far, INEC is now mandated to publish voters register on its official website for public scrutiny at least 30 days before a general election, and any INEC staff who is responsible. Look at how they have tagged it to responsibility in governance. And any INEC staff.
Okay, you have to take a pause now. Let's quickly join Muritala from Kaduna. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Hello, Muritala, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm with you. How are you?
Good morning. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Yeah. Please, I want to make a comment about this amendment of election schedules.
You can go on.
Yeah. I think in my own notion, National Assembly, they are trying to bring in their selfish interest. But I think why they couldn't do that before the INEC announced their election date schedules. They leave it until after the INEC present their own. Then they subsequently come with their selfish interest, because they know Nigerians are not with them. They know they are not doing what we are sending them there to do. They are always trying to present their selfish interests. So I think, for me, this is not the right time for doing that. Even if they want to do that, okay, let's maybe make it to the next after the general election.
Okay.
So, and I think
you've made your point. Many thanks for joining us, Muritala from Kaduna.
30 days before, but any INEC staff who is responsible for this but fails to act as prescribed shall be on conviction to 6 months imprisonment. If the electoral register and the basis of the credibility of any election is actually the purity of the register. Now, number 7, INEC is now mandated to keep a national electronic register of election results as a distinct database or repository of polling unit by polling unit results for all elections conducted by INEC. Number 8, collation of election results is now mainly electronic. Collation of election results is now mainly electronic, as transmitted unit results will help to determine final results on real-time basis. Number 9.
Okay, you take a pause on that. Frank is joining us from Benue. Man, thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. Go on with your comment, please. Hello, Frank. Can you reduce the audio of your TV set so that we can hear you loud and clear?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. You see, there's a different. What the learned man in the House failed to understand is that he was quoting Constitution, 3rd schedule, section 3, 3rd schedule, 15th schedule. You see, there's what the Senate has done, what the National Assembly has done, is just a schedule. The National Assembly did not fix date for election. There is a difference between sequence and fixing date. The INEC has the power to fix date, but the National Assembly has just done a schedule. So what is the learned man trying to deceive Nigeria? And some senators are saying that these things is targeted towards Buhari. Is Buhari a live president of this country? Is he going to be the live president of this country? Well, those that are saying that they are targeting Buhari, they are too selfish. They are too selfish to Nigeria. They are not sincere. They want one appointment or the other from the president. That is why they are saying the president himself should know that they are deceiving him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frank.
You know what?
From Benue.
In England,
you want to continue with
let me finish.
that so that you give
I just have
okay.
2 or 3 more to listen. A political party whose candidate dies after commencement, and this will be of interest to my friend, because we argued and when the shenanigans that happened in Kogi happened. A political party whose candidate dies after commencement of an election and before the declaration of the result of that election now has a 14-day window to conduct a fresh primary in order for INEC to conduct a fresh election within 21 days of the death of the party's candidate. The madness that happened in Kogi wouldn't have happened if this was, and I know the side my friend was, we were on the same side. And this is part of the amendment, number 11, which I think is up to 12. Political parties, polling agents. This will be of interest to him. Political parties, polling agents are now entitled to inspect originals of electoral materials before commencement of election, and any presiding officer who violates this provision of the law shall be imprisoned for at least 1 year. These are part of the amendment, so look, don't let me take much of your time. In fact, up to parties that are now using the shadow elections of their parties to extort members for money, there are provisions there. And the only provision in the amendment that a learned person like my brother here, if you just have to be educated to know that this is leading us in the direction of progress in our electoral system. The only this thing is the sequence of election, because you know what? Because it is generally believed that this sequence of election is machinated to be used against the incumbent president. When every time we are approaching a general elections after the interregnum of military rule, the elections that are usually conducted in the sequence of the lower elections, council elections, state elections, national elections, and the president. And now it has become so anathema that we have to go and use the Constitution of Nigeria to say even because from the reason of my friend, the Electoral Act is surplus to the position, totally apocryphal and superfluous.
But just a moment, GBOLA, it's the same sequence of the election that led to the uproar in the Senate at their plenary. I can play the clips of that to you because some senators walked out of the plenary saying, well, we're not in tandem with this. I will let you speak on this. Let's take this break. And when we come back, GBOLA will give his response concerning the reactions of these lawmakers concerning the sequence of the election.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
Hello and welcome to Core TV Primetime News broadcast.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then news. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station. Core TV News now live on all Androids.
Hello and welcome. This is Core TV.
Download Core TV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Want to catch up on all the latest happenings in and around Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory?
Give them basic amenities instead of demolition. To be able to do that, you have to demolish some.
Running like a mad person. Sometimes we enter main road, motor will jam us.
The government is concerned about life.
This road will suffer, no roads here.
Informing you of government activities complemented by the private sector.
Abuja Today also brings you all the socio-political and economic happenings. Then join me, Anita Patrick, every Saturday, 6:30 p.m. and a repeat broadcast 12:30 p.m. on Abuja Today.
Why do we want to do a bill? Why do we want to make a law to address just one particular problem at a particular time? Targeted person. This is a very partisan.
Why did you wait until after a long time INEC has come out with the timetables? They have been informing us. Every day you watch the chair of INEC saying that there is a balance of 300 and so just in the social elections. Why did you do that one?
So what we are now saying is that it is not because of Mr. President in court. What happens tomorrow? If you are there, will you now want to amend the constitution again to suit yourself? That is not it.
This institution, we must protect it. I know that every politics is local. I know. I appreciate that. But as much as it is local, we also have to maintain the integrity of this institution.
The president of the Senate there and aggrieved lawmakers who are against the amendment of that sequence in the Electoral Act. For just 1 minute, I'll let you speak, Mr. GBOLA. Then I get the response of Mr. Samuel ADEOLA on this issue. Just 1 minute.
You've shown the footage now, but you didn't bother to show the footage of the side of the official spokesperson of the Senate with the chairman of the conference of the committees of the two chambers of the National Assembly that came to all the aggregation of all this as the positions of the amendment. Did you show it? It shows journalism in Nigeria.
Okay, let me let Mr. Samuel ADEOLA to speak on that.
As far as I'm concerned, I still stand on my position. One, the only thing that will make me believe that truly they want to hand over willingly the instrument of work, job description, and how to carry that job out to INEC is when they put the date of election there. If they didn't put it there, because it is like you are turning INEC to a robotic. How independent are they? How independent? The process is different from the actual. All this that you read are the process. The actual work is to be done by them. Why can't they put dates there? Why can't they put the date of election if they have the right to reschedule the timetable? Why can't they put the date? Election of president will be done this day. They should have been able to determine, because before the INEC can come into the schedule or the timetable of election, they should have looked at one, the budget in their hands. Two, the availability of manpower. These are the prerogative of somebody that is in charge. You have a MD here. If the owner of this company give to your MD everything that has to be done here without his own input, so why is he the MD? Why exactly is he the MD? The process of bringing this media outfit together is by registering and on the reg. How this place is run is in the hand of your MD. As long as it is in accordance with journalistic ethos. INEC is the only one empowered to undertake election. You don't give it to him how he intends to. You can only show him the process. Everything read here are just process of election.
there's no need for electoral act. That's what I
you understand? Everything read here, I give you all the time without any interruption.
Just a moment, Mr. ADEOLA is getting very interested in the program. Well, Moses is calling us from Abuja. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Yeah, Mr. Malo, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to your guest as well.
Go on, Moses.
Hello, I think I want to align myself with Mr. GBOLA, honestly speaking, because the barrister said something earlier when he was quoting the part of the third schedule of the Constitution. I think, again, he concluded by saying that the amendment has been done already. But I beg to disagree with him, because during the amendment of the Electoral Act, INEC itself didn't wait for National Assembly to conclude the amendment when they came up with the election schedule. And that's why, they ran into this confusion that we have now. If they had waited, and again, like Mr. Kola said, it was not only one piece of the constitution that was amended. About 11 of them were actually amended. And the National Assembly has not come up with the conference committee. The conference committee has not taken place, and the collation of the whole amendment has not been forwarded to the president, for which actually have the amendment proper. But INEC went ahead to come up with their own schedule. I think it's all about politics actually for 2019. That is agreed.
Many thanks, Moses from Abuja. Mr. ADEOLA, you still have the floor.
Like I said, the process is what the Electoral Act is meant for. The actual work to be done, it is the INEC that will determine how it is to be done, how the process will be applied.
Can I talk now, because the gentleman is making the same point?
Can't they? Why can't they fix the time that the election will be? Why do they leave that time to INEC? Because they recognize the provisions of that constitution section that it is the INEC that will organize, that will undertake. When you organize a thing and you undertake, when somebody gives you something to organize and to undertake, maybe I don't understand the English of undertake. Supervise.
Okay, now, if this bill is signed into law by the National Assembly, do you see the president assenting to this?
It is his prerogative. It is prerogative. And everything that we are talking about now has time limit. Number one, the budget of INEC is already in the National Assembly on the basis of what they have submitted. Like one of the senators said the other time, that the timetable has already been submitted. This amendment has been done. This is the last amendment they did to it, which I believe. I don't want to read.
The amendment has not been done.
I don't want to read. I don't want to read motive. Yes, what I mean by it has been done. You and I, except you are not vast. This thing that Mr. Oba is reading out now has been in existence. We have been seeing it since about 2 or 3 months ago. They have been releasing it as what they have agreed on in Electoral Act. Do you understand? This last one was the only last one they did after INEC has released their timetable. And be that as it may, this timetable was released based on the budget preparation they gave in the 2018 budget. And now everything that INEC did by virtue of the power to organize and undertake election, they did it in accordance with that.
Okay, let me let Mr. GBOLA speak now. My question.
Let's now laser in on the facts. My friend is a lawyer. He should know the process of lawmaking. The process of lawmaking is that when a bill passes through the two chambers of the National Assembly, and after harmonization, a clean copy has been submitted on the table of the president. If he signs it, it becomes law automatically after his signature, except that the statute has a period of activation amongst its provisions. Or if he does not sign it in 30 days,
the
30 days, if 30 days after it's been submitted to him, he does not sign it, either reject or sign it, the National Assembly can recall that thing, and they will debate the provisions of the law again in the two chambers of the National Assembly. And if two-thirds majority of each of the two chambers passes it, it becomes law. As I'm talking to you now, the NDDC Act that is extant now was not signed by the president. It came into law as a result of the fact that when they have waited for him for the time he has in the constitution to expire, and he did not sign, they brought it back and they debated it in the two chambers of the National Assembly, and total majority of the two chambers passed it, and it is now an extant law. You see, before I even get to your question, you think the president will sign it? If he does not sign it, it's his prerogative in law. It's his constitutional right. He may not sign it. But can it become law? If the National Assembly then does what the constitution says they can do, and it becomes law, INEC will be bound to work with. And now, let's come to facts.
Okay.
After Malobi.
Malobi is calling us from Jos. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
I want to say good morning to you, Mr. Emmanuel, and also I want to salute the High Chief there, Oba himself. I'm always based by his sense of judgment and by his sincerity to educate Nigerians, because the truth, is the only thing that can set you free. Having said so, I want to align myself with him by saying that the Senate, the House of Assembly, has their constitutional powers and rights to make laws. INEC do not make laws. The House of Assembly have their constitutional power to make law, and the law, electoral law, is what the INEC uses to conduct elections for us in this country. So, having said so, I want to say that the laws made by the INEC, the laws made by the House of Assembly, is bound. The INEC is bound by it. INEC is not an authority on this area to make laws for us, and the only time we can get it right in this country is to enforce our electoral laws and then make sure that those who
it's 60 seconds. Malobi, you've made your point. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Thank you very much.
Now let's come to the chronology of the facts. You see, Nigerians, we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful because we will leave children in this land. Even some of us, who all of our children carry foreign passports. You must know, I have lived abroad. I did politics in England. At a point, some people will tell you, you are not from here. We must know that our children one day will remember that their fathers lived in this country. We should be above politics in some matter. When INEC, you are a journalist, when INEC was announcing the sequence of their own election, what did they say? They said they were doing it.
Is it their own election or election in Nigeria?
When INEC was announcing the sequence of election as he wanted it, they said they were usually doing it early. You must remember the word unprecedented, because they want Nigerians to be aware that there will be a given date in our calendar for elections, as it is in America, as it is in the United Kingdom. what INEC forgot to tell the public and what INEC deceived Nigerians on was that they ought to have waited for the passing of the amendment to the Electoral Act before they went about, because INEC is guided not only by the Constitution.
Okay, that's very funny.
How cost effective? Just a moment.
If there is a criminal act on ground, and there's an amendment going on in the court, every criminal must wait for the amendment before the judge pass his own judgment.
Different between the court and the INEC to judge battle.
No, I'm just telling you now. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. We don't have to. Parliament is the what they are saying to amend any act. So if the act of Parliament is amending a criminal law or a criminal law act in the court, so the judge has to wait for any criminal to be sentenced. By the time that is just
the big question that we are living out of this is that how cost effective will this be if this comes to stay, having the National Assembly first, the governorship and state House of Assembly second, and presidential election
what is the difference in the court?
As the last?
What you tell me what you see.
I'm throwing the question to you. How cost effective will this be if INEC has planned to have presidential election
my brother,
and the National Assembly election first and governorship and state assembly election first? Second.
Please, when we want to ask questions as practicing journalists, we should let some degree of intellectual robustness be coming.
I've raised this. I've raised that question. It might not be sound to you, but many other stakeholders have raised
this superfluous when the issue is that it involves money, it involves days. This is another day added to it, and the money, the budget of the INEC as of today in the 2018 budget is still.
Which agency will?
How long does it take them to even approve the original 2018 budget? The original 2018 budget is still there with this National Assembly. They are still romancing it. Now you are not talking about environment. How long will it take them?
39 out of MDAs, 39 out of MDAs under the executive have not submitted their budget annotation.
Public affairs analysts.
And we are complaining about the National Assembly.
Many thanks.
Why not talk to a government
on the program
that does not have a handle on the people who work for it? 39 departments.
Samuel ADEOLA, many thanks for joining us on the program this morning. This is how we call it.
We are demonizing the National Assembly.
This is how we call it today. On the program, I'm Emmanuel Ajayi. I say bye for now.